Hey everyone, welcome to Squeakcast. Arty is here for his little cameo. How you doing, buddy? He's got crazy eyes. Uh, I've found that one thing, people like dogs in the thumbnails. So hopefully he'll show up in the thumbnail naturally. I won't have to specifically make a custom thumbnail. But I have unboxing. This is a brand new omnibus. Okay, Arty, you gotta back up, but this is a brand new Aliens, the digital, or the original years digital. And this is a cover by Mark Nelson. Funny story about this. First, the point of this video is I want to actually talk about Dracula. I've set a launch date for it. I want to talk about this for a minute, but I got to tell you, I'm launching Dracula on June 1st. And I wanted to get to the reasoning as to why I decided to do that. Um, I realize there's going to be questions, perhaps, so I want to talk about that. First, like side note on this omnibus, this Mark Nelson cover here. I started a new job in September, and I was given a desk, and I went to the desk, and I was looking through some of the random things that were left behind in it, and no joke, inside one of the filing cabinets, there was an 11 by 17 black and white print of this exact cover by Mark Nelson, and it was signed. Signed. And so I thought, holy cow, this is I don't know if this is worth anything, but it's at least for the awesome value that's priceless. Finding that in your new job in the desk. So I hung it up on my wall proudly with a magnet, and a guy showed up a few months later and said, "Hey, oh my goodness, I'm glad you found that. That's mine." And he's a guy that actually does art and does really, really well at conventions. I got to talk about him sometime. He makes a killing at conventions, a full-time living doing art and commissions and selling prints at conventions. So super interesting. You never thought it could be done, but he's doing it. Anyway, so he he took it. He took the print and gave me a copy of his print, which feels bad, but it's where it belongs, and he was appreciative of it. Anyway, so I got this. I want to look through it as I talk about Dracula, and I pull up this dust jacket, which slides off like so. It's pretty thick omnibus, and holy crap, that's cool. Usually these don't have artwork on them. It's just like a single color, but this actually has artwork printed on it wraparound. That's super cool. So we're gonna flip through this a bit. I know you're supposed to stretch the spine. Look at that, so cool. So we're gonna do that. I think you start on the sides and work your way to the middle. Anyway, so I'm launching Dracula. I had said that first. I said I wasn't gonna launch Dracula or any other books until the art was finished. Then I would launch them, and then I said I wouldn't launch another book, another campaign, until Fatal was finished and fulfilled. Well, Fatal is incredibly close to being finished, and hopefully fulfilled as well. Like there's 4 pages of art left to do, which is really close. It's been moving very slowly, and that is frustrating, but it's also, I mean, some of it is probably my fault in wanting to prepare better and understand how much of a book should be done ahead of time and what could go wrong. But other parts of it, honestly, if I'm being frank, are not really in my control. And so, it got down to it, and I started thinking, what am I supposed to do? I have a finished book in Dracula. I have an artist named Donald DeLay who we worked out a deal. I won't go through the specifics, but part of that was that I would pay him up front, and the page rate was based on there being some back end profits as well. If we hit certain goals, and so the longer, this is what it comes down to. The longer it goes that I don't launch Dracula, yes, I'm not getting paid, which feels bad, or I'm not making my money back. But Donald is also not getting, and not that he hasn't gotten paid, he got paid, but he could be getting paid more, which artists always need, especially when that's what they're doing full time. And not only that, but Downcast 4 is in production, and there are artists like Eric Weathers working on that, Nacho Lazaro working on that, so on and so on. You know, we're gonna obviously get a colorist for Eric's story that's in it, which is gonna be awesome, by the way. But there's just a lot of factors in here that if I'm not making comics, nobody's getting paid. Business isn't happening essentially. I've talked about how, again, cash flow becomes a problem with the crowdfunding model. And so the way to remedy that is to continue to be making books so that every single month people are getting paid paychecks and you're making progress. And so, with that being the goal, when a book is finished, I have to put it out. I had a couple readers reach out to me recently. One, I won't say your name, and if you would like me to, I will. But I think you know who you are. Somebody that watches the channel, and you told me, he said that anybody that's paying attention to what I'm doing in comics, paying attention to the Fatal campaign, paying attention to how I have fulfilled all of my other campaigns on time, understands that this is a special circumstance. They understand that I am trying my hardest to make sure that books get out on time and that I'm keeping my promises and my obligations. And so it wouldn't be fair. It would be, in fact, selfish, in his words, to not put out books that people are depending upon when they're finished, you know, when there's no risk of not getting the book. And so I think he made some good points. Obviously, I paraphrased, but that really got me thinking that what I need to do is just set a date, which I did, is June 1st. Dracula will be launching. The book will be ready to go. It's, you know, we're working on the interior print file, but the covers are technically already being printed because of the turnaround time. It takes some time. So we're moving ahead. I am taking a bit of a leap of faith here, especially with Dracula, because I've taken quite a bit of financial risk with it, and I'm taking a bit of a risk launching it before Fatal is, or picking a launch date before Fatal is fulfilled, which again, I hope is going to be very soon, but I've already picked a date. I'm sort of just jumping into the arms of my 300, I've been calling it, readers that want to see what I have to do and want to support my books. So, yeah, long, awkward way to explain what's going on, but man, these are rad. Oh, this is Dorman. Dave Dorman did these. I thought they looked familiar. So cool. Anyway, so this will be really interesting to tell. I've taken a lot of risks when it comes down to Dracula. It's a hardcover book when I've never done that before. It is a black and white interior book like I've never done before, and part of the reason is because that I felt like the black and white was important to the storytelling of Dracula, that it would serve the story best. So rather than going with what would be more marketable, which is a color book, I went with what I thought would be more, more authentic to the way that the book is supposed to be read, to serve the story first. And so that is a little bit of a risk. That's kind of another reason why I wanted to do hardcover, to show it wasn't about saving money. It was about doing the book right. Doing a public domain character is another risk. Doing financing the whole thing ahead of time, except for the print run, and launching it is a big risk. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that I've got to try it. So, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. I think it'll be a good case study for me. It'll be a good case study for other people out there too, if you're curious what's going to happen. If I wanted to take the ultimate risk with it, I could also say that I'm going to be launching it just on my own website instead of crowdfunding it. And I did think about that quite a bit, but I think right now I'm already doing too many things different with this campaign, and so it's probably not a good idea. So I'm just going to go ahead. Well, we're going to go with Indiegogo, just like I normally do, and I'm putting together what I think is a really great package, great looking book, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Your feedback is always welcome below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.